Before Major League Baseball existed, organized baseball had already been around for decades. There were clubs all over the country playing by their own rules, but there was one thing they all had in common. It was strictly amateur, and getting paid was against the rules. That's where our story starts in the pre-MLB era. Back in 1854, 3 New York clubs, the Knickerbockers, the Gothams, and the Eagles, agreed on the first standardized set of rules. Those rules became the foundation of the game. Then in 1857, the National Association of Baseball Players formed, the first real organized league. It was still amateur, and players still weren't supposed to be paid, but stars like Lip Pike were quietly getting money under the table anyway. This was also when the color line first appeared. When that league voted to refuse any club with a black player, the Negro Leagues were born, and they would remain a separate world for the next 60 years. The dam finally broke in 1871, when that league became the National Association of Professional Baseball Players, the first fully professional league that actually paid its players. It didn't last long. In 1876, a group of teams broke away to form the National League, the same National League that still exists today. And in 1901, Ban Johnson turned his Western League into the American League, giving us the 2 leagues we still know now. But here's the strange part. The game they were playing barely looked like baseball as we know it. Welcome to the Dead Ball Era, roughly 1900 to 1919. The Dead Ball Era gets its name from the baseball itself. Balls were made poorly and used until they fell apart. A single ball might stay in play for over 100 pitches until it was soft, dirty, and coming apart at the seams. A soft ball doesn't travel, so it was incredibly hard to hit for power. And on top of that, pitchers were allowed to doctor the ball. Scuffing it, marking it, and throwing spitballs were all completely legal. The result was a game with almost no home runs. The league batting average sank to around .239, and teams averaged just 3.4 runs a game, the lowest in history. So offense became all about small ball, bunts, walks, and stealing bases. Even so, legends emerged. Cobb hit for a career .366 average, the highest ever, and stole nearly 900 bases. Honus Wagner racked up more than 3,400 hits, and Chief Wilson set a record in 1912 with 36 triples in a single season, a mark that still stands today. But the biggest stars of the era were the pitchers. Cy Young won 511 games, almost 100 more than second-place Walter Johnson, who was a dead ball legend in his own right. Young threw over 7,000 innings with a career ERA around 2.6. His name became so legendary that in 1956, baseball named its Best Pitcher award after him. Then, almost overnight, the game changed completely. This is the live ball era from 1920 to 1941. Starting in 1920, pitchers were banned from doctoring the ball. No more scuffs, no more spitballs. A new rule also required fresh, clean baseballs whenever one got worn. Suddenly the ball was brighter, easier to see, and it traveled. Scoring exploded, and for the first time the home run became king. And no one embodied that better than baseball's first true superstar, Babe Ruth. Ruth had played for the Boston Red Sox during the dead ball years, but everything changed when he joined the Yankees in 1920. That season, he hit 54 home runs. To put that in perspective, the guy with the second most that year hit just 19. Ruth single-handedly turned baseball from a bunting game into a power game. He finished with a career slugging percentage of nearly .690, hit 714 home runs, and set a record with 60 in a single season, numbers that stood for decades. And he wasn't alone. Joe DiMaggio launched his career in this era and put together a 56-game hitting streak, still considered the most unbreakable record in the sport. But for all its excitement, the game was still missing something huge. It was still segregated. That brings us to the integration era, from 1942 to 1960. For decades, black players had been shut out of the major leagues and forced into the Negro Leagues. There had been talk of signing Negro League stars like Josh Gibson as early as 1943, but baseball's commissioner, Kennesaw Landis, was a staunch segregationist who blocked any attempt at change. When he was gone, one man made his move. Branch Rickey, the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, was determined to break the color line. In 1946, he signed Jackie Robinson to the Dodgers minor league team. And on April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson took the field for Brooklyn, finally breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. It wasn't easy and it wasn't quick, but the door was open. Larry Doby, Satchel Paige, and Roy Campanella followed, along with a wave of Latin American players. This is the moment baseball started becoming the multicultural international game it is today. With the game finally opening up, it was ready to spread. Welcome to the expansion era from 1961 to 1976. Before this, there were just 16 teams packed into only 11 cities, almost all in the Northeast. That started to change fast. The Brooklyn Dodgers moved west to Los Angeles, the New York Giants moved to San Francisco, and brand new teams appeared in cities like Houston, Kansas City, and San Diego. In 1962, the National League added the Houston Colt 45s and the New York Mets. Then in 1969, both leagues expanded again, adding the Royals, the Padres, the Expos, and the team that would become the Milwaukee Brewers. But hidden inside the expansion era was another shift, one so dramatic people called it the pitching era. In 1963, the strike zone was made bigger, stretching from the shoulders down to the knees. Pitchers took over. In 1968, the league batting average collapsed to around .237. Sandy Koufax threw 4 no-hitters, including a perfect game. And Bob Gibson posted an era of 1.12 in 1968, one of the greatest seasons a pitcher has ever had. Pitching got so dominant that officials feared a second dead ball era, so they fought back. In 1969, they lowered the pitching mound from 15 inches down to 10. And in 1973, the American League added the designated hitter to put more offense back in the lineup. It worked, and the balance was restored. Off the field, an even bigger revolution was brewing. This is the free agent era, and it was all about money. For the first time, players could negotiate and choose where to sign, and salaries exploded. In 1979, Nolan Ryan became baseball's first player to earn $1 million a year, signing with the Houston Astros. Just a year later, Dave Winfield landed a record 10-year deal, and the ceiling kept rising. That was only the beginning. The ripple effect is still growing today, all the way up to Shohei Ohtani's $700 million contract with the Dodgers and Juan Soto's $765 million deal with the Mets. Then came the most controversial era of all, the Steroid Era, when nearly every record that seemed untouchable suddenly started falling. In 1998, the whole country watched Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa chase the single-season home run record, with McGwire winning the race at 70 home runs. Then in 2001, Barry Bonds shattered it again with 73, a record that still stands more than 20 years later. But the numbers were too good to be true. League-wide offense kept climbing, and it became obvious something was going on. In 2004, MLB finally introduced random drug testing. And in 2007, the Mitchell Report was released, a massive investigation that named nearly 90 players, including Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Stars like Alex Rodriguez and Mark McGwire eventually admitted to using. The home run boom had a dark secret behind it. As the game cleaned up, it also got smarter. This is the analytics era, also known as Moneyball. Instead of trusting old-school scouting, teams started using data to find undervalued players. The small-budget Oakland A's, led by Billy Beane, showed you could win without the biggest payroll. And by 2007, nearly every team was doing it. Data reshaped how the game was played. Pitchers became specialists who threw fewer innings but harder than ever, with guys like Aroldis Chapman hitting over 100 miles an hour. StatCast revealed the secret to home runs was launch angle, and hitters like Jose Bautista and Mike Trout redesigned their swings to match. Teams even shifted their infielders to one side of the field based on the batter. It worked so well that by 2022, the league batting average had dropped to just .243, which brings us all the way to today, the modern era. It's defined by two things: international talent and new rules. Superstars like Shohei Ohtani have become the face of the sport, and Ohtani made history with the first 50-50 season ever, 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a single year. At the same time, in 2023, MLB introduced huge changes to speed up the game. A pitch clock to keep things moving, a ban on the infield shift to bring back hits, and bigger bases to encourage more stealing. Between the record-breaking global stars and these bold new rules, one thing is clear. After more than 150 years, baseball is still evolving, and honestly, the next era might be the most exciting one yet.